I'm Todd Schleiger, and I'm here with David Lillis, who is running for District 46 for State Representative of Michigan. And I'd like to start with a question on here. What is the position that you are running for, and what is the job description to go along with it?
Well, each district in the state of Michigan, there's districts for state rep, there's districts for state senator, and then you have the governor who has the whole state. A state rep has a small position, and that small position is 85,000 people.
Okay.
So it's small enough that he can move around and get to all the people to let them know what's going on. Now the state legislature, the House of Representatives, kind of controls mostly the spending, but they do introduce bills to make change. Now the one thing that I want people to understand is there are the way things are and the way things are supposed to be. Now the way things are now is not necessarily correct.
Okay.
But our state reps are supposed to come and tell us this, and they don't. There could be reasons of party affiliation, or they're just plain lazy and they don't want to.
How do you think it's handled at this time right now?
People are very much uninformed, and this is really unfair, or what they do find out, there's a spin on it. If people knew the truth of what was going on, they'd probably scream.
Are you actually saying that possibly that our representatives aren't quite telling us the full truth?
Yeah, I guess that's the best way of putting it. Now, the one thing that a state rep is supposed to do is stay within the borders of his district. You represent everybody, not just the people in your party, not just the money people, everybody. Once that election is over with, you come together as 85,000 people, District 46. Each district gets one vote. And that vote, number one, vote for yourself. Then vote for your family. Then vote for your district. Voting on outside issues, there are times that you will do that, but for the most part, you vote so that that law, you know how it will affect your district and your life. If it doesn't affect your life, then you negotiate and try to help out other districts, which in turn, if they succeed, you will succeed because it'll come back to you. Now, you have to be ready to negotiate. You have to be ready to compromise. You can't have things your own way. That takes tact, diplomacy, and finesse. But what's going on up there is partisanship, if they even show up.
Right.
And this is wrong because you have a job to do. This is a privilege, an honor that's given to you to represent the people of your district. You're no celebrity, and you owe them as being a public servant, heavy on the servant.
Okay. How would you handle the job, and what is your platform?
Okay, well, the platform is very simple. Who works for who? What I find very aggravating is they don't come around and they wouldn't give you the time of day until it comes time to vote. Then all of a sudden they're knocking on your door, they want to talk to you. Well, no, what really got to me is when I'm campaigning, I go to doors and people say, I'll ask them, do you vote? Yes. Do you know who your state rep is? No. State senator? No. Congressman? Maybe. Well, who did you vote for? And they really don't know. Well, they should know, because whatever these people do, you got to live with it and you got to pay for it. And right now, after this last term, what you are going to pay is just outrageous. So, even though the job description says Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you are in Lansing.
Okay.
And at that point, you're supposed to be getting information, negotiating with, in the legislature, and casting the vote, okay? The other 4 days, Friday through Monday, you're to be in the district, talking with people, getting their feedback, getting their ideas, and making sure that they're well informed, and then they will tell you how to cast the vote. Now, as long as you're honest with them, they can make a good decision. If you put spin or partisanship on it, it's not going to come out right. So that's the responsibility and the accountability of the state rep. When you cast that vote, you make sure that the people knew exactly what they were voting for.
Okay.
And that's not happening.
How would you make changes to this situation? I mean, is there anything that you can tell the people of Michigan that you would make changes to make it more acceptable and get the job done properly?
Well, first of all, it's a 7-day-a-week job. Our state reps and state senators right now barely put in 100 days. As a matter of fact, what's really kind of ironic is in 2013, they voted in for themselves a 2-week hunting vacation, which
actually took more time away from their job in Lansing.
And it's paid.
Right.
Now, it's paid for them. We're paying for them to go hunting. Tim Skubic asked Randy Richardville, the Speaker of the Senate at that time, and he said, well, my constituency is real happy for me to go hunting. Really? Well, I'd like to go to my boss and ask him the same thing. Would you mind if I took 2 weeks off? I'd like to go swimming, go to the beach. I'm sure I wouldn't be able to vote on that one. But the point is that you have a job to do. And if you don't want to do the job, then you shouldn't be elected. Okay, now, for me, when I say who works for who, what is so demeaning to me is when they come around and they talk down to you, or they talk as though they're doing you a favor.
I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted you to elaborate on your platform of who works for who. I want to know your exact belief and meaning into it.
If you elect someone to represent you, they are to be in Lansing. You've given them the privilege and the responsibility of representing you. It does not matter what your gender is, what your party affiliation, if you have money or you don't have money, if you're educated, uneducated, you represent everybody. Again, well, for you and I, if we represent people with hair and without hair. You know, I mean, it's just that simple. But
right.
That's not what is being done. The people need to benefit from it, and they're not. What's happening is they're passing laws up there, and for those that voted for this particular candidate, you'll get residual. You will get something from it. The problem is they cast a vote on behalf of the party, on behalf of contributors, but not the people of the district. And when you do that, then you cannot go back down to your district because people have already caught you doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing. Now, for me, I don't take any money. I refuse to take money because they get so bold as they will tell you, you will remember what we did for you. Well, I can't do that. I need to be able to stay completely independent, and I serve the people of the district. So when I go up to Lansing, my son asked me this. He said, oh, if you go up there, what are you going to do? You going to change everything? No, I'm not. But I will change this. The vote cast for District 46 will be cast for the 85,000 people that live here. It will not be cast for anything else.
What is your number one priority and goal?
To make sure I'm in the district, have a 100% voting record. Vacations, no, I will work 7 days a week. On the ship, where I work now, we work 7 days a week, 18 hours. Well, I'll be working 12 hours a day. The thing about it is, if you like what you do, it's not a job.
Right.
It's pleasurable. When you can make somebody's life better. For a personal goal, I want to prove that this job can be done the way it's supposed to be.
So does that mean that you won't be taking the 2 weeks off to go hunting?
No, I don't go hunting. No.
Okay. Now, you've recently had a tragedy in your life. Would you like to tell the people of Michigan about that?
Yeah. I lost my son, Matthew, and he passed away in February. And I'd like to thank all the people, anyone and everyone who touched his life and brought a smile to his face. I want to thank you personally. But I also want people to understand that I want your lives to be better. I learned something years ago about taking 2 steps back and look at your life. You'll find that it's not so bad. For parents, I don't care if your child is 2 months old or 42 years old, that is still your child. And I don't ever want any parent to go through what we're going through. It's a bit so painful, I can't even describe it. So what I want is, at present time, our children will not have it as good as we did. I want to know, and I want people to understand, that we can fix this. A state rep is a catalyst. A state rep is not someone that's going to go up there and change the world. You're one of a few, of many. But if we, as a state rep, if we bring the tools for the people to make it work, then it can happen. But we don't do that. What we do is we talk a bunch of crap and then expect people to believe us, say, oh, it's somebody else's fault. Well, no, it isn't. Take responsibility for your district.
So are you referring to all the finger pointing that goes on in Lansing instead of accountability?
Absolutely. There's so many things that could be done. What aggravates me is when they say, I reached across the aisle and I talked to Democrats. Well, we're going back to the same thing, that there's some war going on, and that's the enemy, and I crossed enemy lines. No, you didn't. You did your job.
Right.
Party politics is, each party has its own ideology, and that's fine. And both have good ideologies. It's the people that they put in to represent them. They're the ones that are screwing it up. It is for the benefit of making people's lives better. And in order to do that, you have to be able to talk to them. I need to be able to, for you to trust me, that when I walk up to you, we bring up an issue. We can disagree. We can yell and scream and throw a few chairs, but we can come to an agreement.
Right.
But if I've lied to you, and if I'm doing something underhanded, man, I got to be very careful. I don't want to get caught. I don't want you to see me.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that. If you lie, cheat, and steal to get in the job, you have to lie, cheat, and steal to stay in it. And at that point, you cannot do the job. And I'll be honest with you, I've got better things to do than have to live like that. If I can't do the job the way it's supposed to be done, then you damn well shouldn't elect me. One other thing. If you do elect me, and I don't do the job, to the voters, I will simplify this. You as individuals are about to hire someone to represent you. Now, it's in a way the same thing as if you're bringing a plumber in or a carpenter or someone to do something for you, an accountant. The thing is, you are going to hire this person. You want the best person, okay? So look at them, listen to them. If you elect me and I don't do the job, you better damn well fire me.
Now, this is one of the main things I hear all over the news and the media. Is how do we get, or should I say, how would you work towards gaining the trust back for our state government? The people right now in Michigan have such disdain for the way our state government and federal government is working, but mainly I'm talking about the state government. How would you rebuild that trust for the people of Michigan?
Well,
or at least your district.
Okay, again, as I said, for me, taking money and endorsements. Maybe at one time, and even today, there's probably some that are legitimate and they really want to contribute to get a good candidate. It's unfortunate that so many do it to gain influence. Well, once you give influence to someone else outside the district, you cannot represent your district 100%.
Right.
One of the things that all candidates and all state reps and anyone who's in the government, you need to know the difference between right and wrong. And so many of them don't.
Tell me what your right and wrong would be for this situation?
Well, you look at the situation and you make a determination of what's right, not who's right. You look at it, determine it for what it is, apply it to your district, make sure you bring down the information, spread it throughout the district, get people talking, get their feedback. And if they tell you they don't like it, now you've got your chance to explain it to them, but you must be unbiased. And then once you do that and they say, I like this, I want it, then you cast the vote and you've done your job.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, your priority must be the people of the district. And if every state rep did that, not just me, if every state rep did that, we would be so much better off, because then everyone would understand everybody else's area. Now, I grew up in northern Michigan, way different than down here, different from on the western side of the state. Now, when they vote like that, if you, the state rep, can take the time to go to the other state reps and say, hey, you know, in my district, this and this and this is happening. And they say, well, in ours, this and this and this is happening. Then they can come together with a better solution. The whole system is where you talk and you come up with solutions. You solve problems. You don't create them.
Right. In your own opinion, why do you think this is not being done now?
Well, people want power, they want the money, they want the position. They just don't really want to do it. And they forget where they came from.
Do you think, well, you mentioned the word power in here, do you think they're just getting elected and maybe to better their careers down the road, or do you think they're do you think they're going in with good intentions?
I think some go in with good intentions. I know specifically one lady down in Detroit. She went in with great intentions, and when she got up there, she saw what was going on, and she couldn't believe it. So I think it's disillusioned her, but she stuck with it, and now she's about to go into her second term. For me, there's nothing that I want. I don't want power. I don't want to move up. I have a nice home. I have 4 great kids, a beautiful wife, and I'm happy with what I have. If I can make people's lives better, which is what I've done all my life, you know, being an executive sous chef, you make people's lives happy, even if it's just a small thing. And if I can do that, if I can come up to someone and listen to them, they have a problem, hey, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to do what I can for you.
Okay.
I'm going to do something. But I'm not just going to say, well, I'm your state rep, you know, look at me. No, that doesn't fly.
Now, you do know that if you do get elected, that, well, they send you to Lansing for what they call training. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
That's fine, but you still have to interpret it the way it's supposed to be. Like I say, you know the difference between right and wrong. If they start telling you, well, you're going to do this, you're going to follow what the Speaker of the House says, well, I'm sorry, I'm not. I've got 85,000 bosses, and they'll tell me what they think. Now, I do want to put something in there. As a state rep, I'm one of 85,000 people, and I want people to understand this.
Right.
I'm entitled to my opinion based on what I know. As new information comes in, that opinion can change. But the vote will not be cast on what I think.
So you're going to actually use the people's
Yes.
voices and cast your
Yes.
vote correctly that way.
And as long as they trust me in telling them the truth, they may not like what I have to say. I'm pretty sure most of them won't. But that's okay, because that is where we can discuss it and we can come up with something better. And I'm telling you, in this district, Lake Orion, Oxford, there are some brilliant people here
Okay.
if we listen to them.
All right. So, out of all sense, and what I'm taking from this conversation with you is that you want to go to Lansing to make changes, but for your district, of course, but do it correctly, not like it is currently being done.
Look, the biggest change is going to be the vote will originate from down here. That's a huge change.
Okay.
I think there's maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 people up there that actually do that. The vote originates down here. It does not originate with the Republican Party. It does not originate with the Democratic Party or the money people. It originates for the people down here. You live with it, and you got to pay for it. So damn what, you should have a say in it.
I like that. I like that. Again, you know, I've talked to you about quite a few different things here. We've touched on a tragedy in your life. We've touched on your priorities and goals. And I mean, I'd like to hear just a little bit more on how you're going to make some of these changes.
Okay. Between Friday and Monday, I will be going through the district. I will be going to the churches. I will be going and walking the streets and meeting people. I'll be going to events. I will be accessible and meet everyone halfway. Okay? I will take the time. If they call and say, I want to talk to you, you will have the time to talk to me. Okay? You got a problem that needs taken care of in Lansing. Now, you have to understand that the state rep is not an omnipotent position. They can be a catalyst to help get that thing changed. But you speak to those departments on their behalf. Okay? You don't just say you do. You actually do it. I will not take any money. And I'm going back to the 1999 salary, something that you should know. In 1999, the legislature voted themselves a 38% raise.
Correct.
There was a couple of reasons why they did that. They did it with less than 8 months to go in their term for 2 reasons. 1, they couldn't be recalled. 2, their final salary would be the basis for their pension. So they went from $56,000 to $83,000. In 2010, I used that in my campaign. And as I said before, I brought in Democrats and Republicans. I got them to agree on something. They tell me to shut up and not bring that issue up.
Right.
What I'm doing is I'm going to take the excess amount. I'll stick with the 1999 salary. Every week, a check will go to the newspapers, either the Oxford Leader or the Orion Review, with a list of charities. And that money will be given to them. It's your tax money.
So that's your way of giving back to your community?
It's their money. And there's, for example, there's teachers that are pulling money out of their pockets
Right.
to get things. There are people in these group homes that are struggling just to make ends meet. There's charities out there that, you know, like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and bands and football teams and softball teams. These are things where you can, you know, it's not going to be any great amount.
Right.
But it's going to be something. And I'm also going to work at getting people to come together. If an issue is out there, we'll take care of it ourselves. We will make our district better.
Okay.
And that I can be a catalyst in.
Okay. Again, I'm Todd Schleiger, and this has been a talk with David Lillis. He's running for a 46th district in Michigan State Rep race. Again,
I would appreciate your vote, yes. But I would appreciate more that you do go out and vote. This is your chance to be heard. If you think that your vote does not matter, it absolutely does. In the last general election, we had a 38% turnout. Come on, we're better than that. We are much better than that. If you don't vote for me, hey, that's okay. You've made a choice, and that's good. But the fact is, what's most important is that you go in that ballot box and you cast that ballot. What I did, I used to take my kids with me, and they would cast the ballot with me. They watched me do it. Some of them were even impressed. And the thing is, what saddens me is this would have been the first time my son would have voted. He didn't get that chance. Don't waste the opportunity. Please, please, please vote. It only takes a few minutes and it's painless. And that's pretty much all I have to say. But thank you for listening.